Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Justin Masterson Show. I'm your host, Justin Masterson, and of course, whatever I'm trying to do is I probably change the volume of something and it doesn't want to work, but that's okay. That's all part of the journey of what we're trying to do at. Oh,
there it is.
There's a little something that's a little different, but as you just heard over here, it ain't just me. I got my guy, Mr. Matthew Zappasodi, hanging out with me.
Twinkies today.
Yes, we are.
Just promoting. You guys need to get online and buy yourself It's All Part of That shirt for Christmas.
Right. That's right. I need to put that probably in the show notes, which is probably not my strong suit.
The Justin Masterson Show.live. It's hard to say fast.
It is kind of hard to say fast.
But it's not my name, and I don't say it all the time, and people probably think Zappasodi is hard to say. So
Zappasodi.
What is that? What does he do on Anchorman when he warms up his lips?
I mean, New York.
New York.
But he says something else.
Yeah. I'll get that clip, and we'll just play that in the beginning.
Yeah, to get it all ready. Well, to start for today, I do have a video. It's not necessarily funny per se, but it is, I don't know, just a reminder of things that take place within my life, in that I still have people who send me cards. So I get fan mail, quite a bit of it. So I decided to sign for the month. And so the video you're going to see once it gets past all those little things that you see right there with the really cool lined up. Oh, here we go. We got a nice things that are sent to me. And then we get letters from people. Now, I'll tell you this much. When I was playing, if I received a letter like this, which you're not really going to be able to see it, but literally it says, "Dear Sir." It doesn't even say, like, my name. And it's just one sent to everybody. I mean, he did underline, like, Red Sox fan. But I'm sure he doesn't to everyone. I'd be like, man, if I'm going to take the time to write, and maybe that's my arrogance, like maybe you could take the time to write something nice. I mean, we got
this one's legit. It's actually from this year. This guy not only personalizes it with, a little bit about him and his faith journey. Let's see if it puts his age in here. He's not an old man like us. He's a youth. And then he puts in there, like, I really appreciate you considering signing this, and if you could give me your favorite Bible verse, here's mine. Like, that's class. That's gonna get your attention.
Yeah, yes, it does. And I don't mind. You got people like my guy Dave here, who just gives the retiree, lifelong New York baseball fan, and collects them, writes it out, and then wants me to just could you put Immaculate Inning, 6/2/2014?
Oh, that's cool.
Because I'm like, sure, I don't care.
Usually don't sign that way. That's a neat one.
No, I mean, usually I put 2013 All-Star. I put a Bible verse in 2013 All-Star, kind of for all of them.
So Homeboy got a very special autograph, Immaculate Inning.
And you get a couple people will throw some of those in there. Some will even ask, like, will you put your 2013 All-Star on there?
This guy, sure. He's got really nice stationery. So Brian, nice stationery. No, seriously. But he says, I still remember Game 5 of the 2008 ALCS. Crisp knocks in Coursey, I don't know, to tie the game at 7 in the 8th. And then he goes on to, like, describe the game. And then he's like, man, I felt like I was there with you. We're creating memories. Like, way to go, Brian. That's sweet.
It's okay. I mean, some people just like to type them, and then that's fine too. It's just nice when they put something personal in there about, togetherness. We got a guy from Texas. He puts a little extra in there. And then sometimes I like to get something. Sometimes it's just a little thank you on a sticky note, which I'd want more than that. But people are like, my handwriting stinks. It's like, yes, your handwriting does stink, but it's okay. You can still send me something, and we can make it work. And so we got quite a few as I went through and just made sure that these people, I've been holding on to them, I think, for like a month.
So maybe we need to get some.
I don't know how they got my
background music.
My number. Oh man.
And have a set. Can we do a fan mail set?
Yeah.
I mean, we are right now, but
like read them.
Like maybe they pull out of the fan bag.
Pull out a fan and be like, I'm writing you in hopes that you would be willing to autograph the enclosed cards.
Yeah.
As a huge fan of the game of baseball, I've really come to appreciate players who not only had good production, but also displayed consistency and longevity. I'm not sure he's watching my career, but
Yeah, this guy is definitely a young person. He calls the Indians by their new name, the Guardians.
oh, that's okay. Yeah, we got a 13-year-old. I was looking through some of my baseball cards from the 2000s and 2010s to see if I knew anybody. So I found 2 cards of you and thought I should write you. So if you have any time, please sign my cards.
This Campbell from Canada. First of all, you might be my favorite Canadian ever. He's a big baseball fan, and he wants the best 2014 players. You are one of them.
Oh,
How's that make you feel?
that makes me feel like he didn't really watch. But we do have, I can't read his name, but it's okay because he says, as a former fantasy baseball enthusiast, you were on a pair of my fantasy teams that won our league. I am appreciative for that. Congrats on an outstanding career.
It's good.
Oh, that's neat.
Another Texan. Way to go, Texas, representing.
Oh, Texas likes to come in hot. We got, usually it's Texas, New Jersey, actually some New Yorkers, and then you get a little Florida action. Like, it does seem to be where...
I think New York always remembers you because, you did some damage in their world.
I think at times.
My heart right here, Maryland.
Oh,
He's been collecting cards since 2008. And he really needs this. Look at this. I need card number 338 to finish my set. I mean, this dude's like the direct number of the baseball card he needs.
and it is cool. My son and I have been having a great time collecting cards and talking sports.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, what a great way for people to connect. You get sometimes some grandparents or, grandpa, grandma.
Yeah.
It's not just the guys, it's the girls too. They like collecting.
And sometimes they actually give you a little something in.
Actually, we got a guy who made, it's not up there, a guy who made the card sends it, like, hey, you can keep one of these.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Now, the hard part is I get people who don't send a letter with it.
Oh.
And you know what's even crazier is when you wait a little bit, if you were to look at these 2 envelopes, as you can see there,
He doubled up.
it looks like that, right?
It's the same stamp.
Same stamp. It's
Different pen.
Different pen, but it's very similar
Yeah.
in the messiness. And on the back, I mean, it wrote a little bit different.
Same size card or envelope, I mean.
And it's the same like girthiness of cards. There's a slew of them.
And it's just got straight up cards, no note.
No, nothing.
No donation to your foundation.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like, hey, please sign these. You should know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I do know that.
You just broke the 5-year-old's heart.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I'm going to sign them, but I wanted to not because it was just like, it's 2 different addresses that are, I didn't look them up yet to see how close they are, but it's Pennsylvania.
Okay.
It's where they
It's
came
probably like Uncle's house and his house, and he's like shooting them out from different.
And I'm just like, just send them all together.
Yeah.
And he put 2 different names. Actually, one is J and then the last one, and then the last name. So it's just an initial J and then the last name. And the second one is the first name starts with a J, but puts a different letter for the last name.
I'm sleuthing that this is a
Right, and
little
and to me,
double
I'm like,
dipping here.
I don't care if you just send me. If you have 30 cards you want me to sign, just send me the 30 cards. Just put it in an envelope that I can put them all in. That just pays for what it is. Right.
You might get 28 back, but
I mean, nowadays you'll get them all back. Eventually. I wanted to get these out before Christmas time,
Oh,
so
that's
hopefully
good.
people get them just in case they were.
So I can still put my eBay listing on and make some money before Christmas?
Yeah, if that's what you need to do. I don't think my autograph has that type of value.
I think it's worth more when you're dead. So we just got to sign a bunch, devalue it now.
Okay.
And then when you die, then we all cash in on
Yeah,
it.
well, I don't think my wife is going to be a big fan of that. She was just talking the other day that she didn't want me to die, which is good because sometimes I think she does want me to die. Actually, there was probably a moment before she said that she actually wanted me to die, probably like an hour before that.
Oh, so she had to take it back, I see.
Probably. She didn't say I want you to die, but I imagine in her head she was.
Well, I'll tell you what, Meryl, unfocus on the death part and focus on making us some more cool videos. Okay?
Yes. And she was trying to.
I know. She texted me.
She put something together, but I don't know. It was like her, which I'm okay with her, but it was like I was hoping it would show something. But I had the card thing that I've been wanting to do for a while, just to kind of highlight that aspect that still happens.
Yeah. Well, the music you put behind it, I'm glad we got to share that. There's some cool, keep them coming, I guess.
Yeah.
The music we got to share really reminded me of this weekend. I got to go see Gladiator 2.
Oh, that's right. You did.
I know you couldn't make it, but I told you I'd go again just because we have to see it together.
I'm all for it.
It's good, right? Like, no doubt.
Okay.
Great movie, all of the stuff, Gladiator, epic stories, fighting scenes, but gory, like comparatively. So they went with a little more in your face with the blood and things that are a little more not PG.
Which, I mean, that understandable.
It's a ruthless game, like Gladiator's about killing humans with
you're
animals.
In the Colosseum.
Like there's no doubt they put it real. It wasn't gross, but I was gonna bring my 13-year-old, and after I did not, and then after seeing the film, I was like, I'm glad he didn't come, because we'd be having nightmares, and so it doesn't mean that I don't have nightmares. It just means maybe I'm desensitized a little more. But
it could be.
I was shocked, and the guys with me, we actually laughed at one of the scenes because we're like, oh, it's just kind of like they didn't have to go there. We got the point.
You mean it wasn't the Moana 2 that I saw, or
let's just put it this way:
Wicked?
We thought I want to hear about that. I haven't seen that. We actually thought the Inner Training Day came out of Denzel Washington a little bit.
Oh,
so just so you know,
I enjoyed that movie.
I bet you did. So tell me about Wicked. I saw something pop up on my feed about Wicked. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I mean it's based off of a precursor of Before the Wicked Witch of the West Dies. And so it's a Broadway show.
Okay,
and that's kind of, I saw it a little long for my personal taste, but was well done. I mean, everything looked pretty. And it's nice singing and all that type of stuff. My wife, I'll speak on behalf of her, she was slightly disappointed. She had seen it on Broadway, so that's going to be a little bit different feel. And so when she saw it, I was like, it was good. And then Coach Cherry, shout out to him. He also, I had relayed that to him. He went and saw it, and he was like, yeah, I agree with Meryl.
Okay.
And I said, okay, do you have a reason why? And he's like, no, just the feel. And he had seen it, before too. And I think that's the fear of a lot of people who've kind of seen it on Broadway or whatnot, that it might not have the same appeal to them.
Not a bust though.
No, I mean, it's well done. I like Moana too also. I thought it was good.
That's on our list. I'd like to go see that.
Nice family movie.
We got tricked on the Disney Plus app, because it's got like a click here, and then my girls got the popcorn. They were ready to go. They're like, I promise it's on screen. I'm like, I don't think it's streaming yet. And we sit down, and Emily and I were like, oh, okay, it's there. And they tricked us. It's not the show.
It is not the show. It's a preview.
The girls were a little upset, but we got over it and probably watched Moana 1 and had a good time.
Yeah, which we watched that a few times leading up to it. And I'm sure there's mixed opinions about it, but I actually thought, somebody was thinking it was like more scary. I thought it was less scary than the first one, because the lava monster in the first one I thought was like pretty intense there at the end.
Yeah, we skipped through the lava monster.
Yeah, and so then the monsters in this, there's an eeriness that you get, but I don't think you get the same of that aspect, unless I just forgot. But
One more movie? You got time for one more?
Sure.
McFarland, USA.
McFarland, USA.
Have you seen it?
No.
Based on a true story. California. Head coach has some anger issues. Gets kind of punished and sent to a super poor town that has no sports.
Okay.
And he's dissatisfied with life and then turns the cross-country program around, and they do some great things.
Oh.
Good family movie, clean.
Okay.
Good sport movie. Although cross-country is a little boring, I'm not going to lie. They do a good job of trying to keep it entertaining.
Sure, it's good if you're running.
And then really good Hispanic culture, Mexican culture influence. And I thought they did a really good job of showing some of the I'm not from South California, Mexico, but I imagine they did a good job of kind of orienting that. And then
South California.
Eating tacos and empanadas, which I knew you'd like.
I mean, if it would take me to San Diego, Chula Vista, I get my National City homies, Bruce Billings and the Billings family down there. Oh man, you got Quentin Lonnie Berry, who he's actually first base coach for the Milwaukee Brewers, and Bruce, my guy, we were at San Diego State together. For some reason, on a random side note, we don't need to go down the path, but I don't think they think I appreciate San Diego State as much as
because you don't talk about it?
Maybe. I mean, I don't really talk about Bethel a whole lot either.
No.
And it's maybe because of my lack of ability to stay connected to people that I'm not around. There's definitely a bit of that. And I did a little bit with some guys, but I didn't go back to some of the things. But then again, you get married and you have other things going on, so it makes it more difficult at times. But I do. I enjoyed those guys, and we had a good time. It was interesting. I mean, you had a lot of talent, and sometimes the motivation wasn't always in the same way as we had. We had 12 guys drafted.
At San Diego?
Yeah, San Diego State. We were just a 500 team, but
wow,
we had fun.
Did you beat Air Force?
We did beat Air Force.
Coach
Hutchin.
Coach
yes.
Hutch.
When he was there. We did beat him, and even though there was one game where they scored a lot. Actually, I gave up, I think, 11 runs.
With that Colorado Air, baby.
And we won the game, I think it was 38-11.
Oh, my.
Now, I'll give credit. They walked a bazillion people, and the umpire, he literally did not call a pitch on the outer half a strike. And I'm talking the full, like from the middle of the plate to the outer half was a ball every single time. And so I just threw it in there. And we were winning by now. I threw it in there, and we figured it out. So that gave up more hits. But
that's crazy. It
is crazy. But on that, not totally with that. But I've been talking to some people. We're at the holiday season.
Yeah.
And so it can be challenging, as we've talked about. We got, the losses that were there. My father-in-law passed away in 2016. A friend of mine, lost an aunt and lost her mother long ago, which still brings up, kind of hurtness. Because then you're seeing people who you haven't seen or had seen that reminds you of things that maybe you enjoyed or didn't enjoy and brings up past hurts. And so one of the things we're talking about is loss. Loss is hard, and that's not always a person. I know for me it was hard when baseball. I was actually just talking to a guy named Dylan Peters, where he's from the area, played some pro baseball. He's back, and he's given some pitching lessons to some of the boys that I got at Fishers High School. And really neat dude, and he was talking about he kind of stopped last year. And it was hard. I didn't know what to do. And there's a sense of loss there that you have to work through and understand. And so it's not always just an actual person. It's things, that take place. And so one of the things that I was talking to somebody about was this idea of courage. And courage being essential to success. And it gives you confidence, determination, and the ability to take action in what you believe. And Jordan Peterson, like him or not, whatever, he put something out, and it had this courage thing. And now, if you know Jordan Peterson, what he put out is really, really smart person language.
Yeah. Yeah.
which I understand bits of it, and I go, ooh, this is kind of neat. But our guy was getting some AI, been talking a lot about AI, and I said, you know what? Let me just dive in and see. So I copied his article, popped it in to the whatever Chat GPT. It's like, hey, could you put this in simple terms? And then, whoop, it pops me out something in simple terms. And I'm like, holy moly, this makes sense to me, and I like it. And so I thought, at least we'd share, a couple things.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about courage?
I love Jordan's crazy over my head language about things. And sometimes I listen to it a couple times to try to grab things, but I'm really interested in the layman's terms because I don't understand half of it. But there's somebody told me the only way to get smarter is to listen to smarter people. And so that's like 90% of the world for me. But Jordan is pretty high up there. And so I do listen to him.
So you don't listen to me. Okay. I get it.
No, you're part of the 90%. That's fine. Courage. I'm going to go with, I think of like lions. I got like a lion on the wall here.
Oh, yeah.
I think of, I don't really know why they're related to courage. I think maybe that's just like a thing in our culture. I mean, are they really courageous? They are like the baddest animal. Is that really courage? Probably, I don't know.
Well, that's actually really good.
Good point. I'm going to go with courage for me is a little bit like, doing something that you're afraid of.
Perfect.
Okay.
No, not that it has to be what I think it's going to be,
Yeah,
but I think that's
enlighten me.
Well, no, people like to say go be fearless, and I don't like fearless. I like go be courageous.
Oh, okay.
Because of what you just said. Like fearless is like, well, I'm not afraid of anything, so I just go do unintelligent things. Is more what it is. Like I'm just going to run out here. Well, it's not really intelligent. Like maybe. So now, like courageous is, okay, I understand the fear. I've thought through it. My mind's had to, understand that there is danger, there's fear, there's something that I'm unsure of, and yet I continue to move forward. I don't let it stop me from moving forward because I see it and go, no. I need to kind of work through this. And so then that courage is stepping into exactly what you said, something that you might be afraid of, or afraid of what might happen after it. And I think there's a lot of, like if you're actually not even young, but they'll make mention of it more young. When you're young, old, whatever, you have the fear of like someone's going to make fun of you. So you don't do things because that might happen. You have a fear of maybe, I find people, my cousin who I love, sometimes he won't play games because like it might just be a game of luck. And some of it might not be fun. But the other part is like, well, I may not win. Like I can't come into this knowing that I have a chance to win because it might be totally luck. So then I don't play. I'm like, well, it's not very courageous. You're just afraid that you might lose. Now, when we're at a family gathering, as long as his brother doesn't win, then he's happy.
Oh.
And so I can appreciate that. So he'll play any game just to make sure.
His first name start with an A?
His first name does start with an A. Hey, Ron, shout out Aaron Hamrick, listening out there in Colorado somewhere. With his lovely wife and young son. But in this, I thought courage is such an amazing thing. And yet people I don't know if we appreciate it as much. And so like one of the things it says is, well, a person with courage attracts strength and determination. Like if you see someone with courage, you want to be around them, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very attracting.
Right?
Attractable. Yeah.
And then the person without it, we can see this is filled with doubt, hesitation, and instability, as it would put there, which would make total sense. Like, so we want to be around the people who have that courage, who are willing to step in the face of that fear. Sometimes I think we falsify it into the fearlessness, but who want to step into it and go, oh, wow. And then other people are like, whoo. Well, just like you want to hang around smart people to get smarter, if you hang around courageous people, you're either going to worship them or you're going to start like going, okay, what is it that they do? And I think that's the better question. What is it that they do? How can I learn from them in order to grow within that?
That's simple.
It is very simple. But isn't most of the things that we really need to do simple, yet we try and complicate it?
Yeah. I mean, is there a need to be courageous? Like, what's wrong with just not facing this issue? Like, what's wrong with being more of the timid, I don't want to try new things type of person? And I'm not necessarily setting you up for an easy one, because I think if you've been led a lifestyle of anti-risk taking, you've justified it, and you kind of are okay with it.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you have created a spot for you where you don't understand the lack of freedom that you have.
Freedom.
I think it is. I think when you're courageous, you're set free because the things that would hinder you or keep you from doing anything in life, that would keep you from experiencing true joy, because all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Should I do this? Oh, I don't know.
An indecisive person might have a problem with this. Yeah,
for sure. And then you're going to have like, oh, well, I just do whatever someone else tells me to do, because then it's not on me, it's on them. And so then you live a life of what? People pleasing in many ways, because all of a sudden you're like, oh, I need you to do this. Oh, okay, I'll do that. And you say yes to everything. And then all of a sudden when you say yes to everything, what happens? Inside, you still feel the emotions. So all of a sudden everything's welling up in you that you haven't talked about. And you're like, oh, I can't believe they want me to do this. And so you start speaking that to somebody else. And then eventually, subtlety of depression comes in. You don't trust yourself. So then you don't know anything. So you have no thoughts on your own. And you're just hoping someone else comes to you. And then you're not actually really living by the end of it.
So,
I mean, that might be a little
no, actually, you could draw the conclusion that when you're stuck in a situation in life, i.e. sadness, depression, melancholy, someone broke up with me and I'm hurt. I'm stuck in a situation. I got fired.
Yep.
Death in the family. Facing it, being courageous to actually go at the item, it will actually get me out of my stuck. But the problem is I don't know what's going to happen.
That's exactly what the problem is.
And so because I don't know what's going to happen, I would rather stay in my known prison cell than open the door and explore what's outside. It's kind of a little bit like, okay, I already said it, prison cell, but I wonder how many of us choose to not try to open the door.
Well, I'm just thinking of, as you describe that, it makes me think of that's how anxiety comes. You're unsure of what's going to happen later, so the fear of that leads to the anxieties of what has yet to happen. You're not totally sure it will, but you think that it could. And so then you stay in your safety prison, which actually the anxiety, you welcome it because you almost see it as your compass. Oh, I'm feeling anxiety about this. It means I just need to stay here in my safe space. I need to not move out from where I'm at, because then I don't know what would happen. Like, what would happen if I undertook that and went towards that? It could be good, but what if it's bad? And if it's bad, then what am I going to do about it? And then am I going to be exploited out there? And then what's going to happen?
And if I succeed, there's going to be expectations on me to succeed next time.
Oh, man. And then the next time I'd be like, oh, I got to do good. And so it's like there's no confidence in who you are.
Okay, so I'm ready for you to lay down the hammer and tell me how to get out of this trap. Like, we've set it up, but I'm also starting to feel anxious myself. So get me out of this mindset. Like, I'm seriously internalized. I am an internalizer, but
yes,
give me some steps right now to these folks listening. How do I get out of this? How do I become courageous?
I mean, the first one is you do the opposite of what just put you in there. And you need to train your mind. And this is a hard thing because it takes time and effort. And time and effort is usually what individuals don't want to do, even though they spend a lot of time and effort keeping themselves in that prison. Is you put the time and effort in to train your mind to focus on the possibilities rather than the fears.
Oh, okay. So what might actually happen? Like, actually break it down.
That's exactly it.
Like, give me the best, the worst, the middle. Talk through the options.
Right.
Okay.
Which gives what these questions. I don't know if we've done it on here before, but it's okay. We have some fears. Okay, what could happen? What's most likely to happen?
Some pros and cons, if you will.
You get the pros and cons. These what positive, what negative, and what's most likely to happen. And then with that information, how can we just push forward?
So I am a little bit setting myself up for some possible knowns, so that alleviates my anxiety, because I'm thinking through, okay, if I call this person, they might answer.
Yes.
Now what? They hear my voice. They might hang up.
Mm-hmm.
They might say, why are you calling? They might cuss me out. Or they might say, yes, and they're waiting for you to communicate.
Right. And then I'm going, well, I don't know what to say. What do you mean you don't know what to say? Just use your words. What was the purpose of wanting to get there
back
from
to
the
original? Why are you calling them in the first place?
Why exactly
You're
are
stuck?
Yes, you are stuck. So why are you calling them? I just want to reach out. But they're probably going to be angry, or I haven't talked to them in so long, and so they're going to be upset. And it's like, well, yeah, they might be. But again,
what's different than now? If they're upset now, what's the difference when you call them? Okay, so let's walking through the processes.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that I've got them out here, I still don't know if I'm going to push play.
No, you don't. You don't.
How do you get, why do I want to push play?
Well, you want to push play because when you're stuck within those emotions, you don't get to truly experience any type of joy.
Okay.
And you're like, why do I need joy? Because our brains were made to be off of joy. Whether you're a Christian or not, like, that's the matter of the fact.
Like physiologically.
Yeah, that's the brain science that says that. And so joy is someone's happy to be with me. And so when you sit in fear, it's like they may not be happy to be with me. So then all of a sudden I think nobody is going to be happy to be with me. That's how it happens when you don't like the way you look when you look in a mirror. How could someone love someone like this? And usually it comes from some trauma of something else that's happened. And sometimes it just comes. And that's why you need to avoid hanging out with fear-driven people.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could say the opposite.
You need to go hang out with courageous people.
Yes.
Okay. So the whole idea, if you've ever loved someone, which 99.9% of all humans, I think there's a couple people raised by wolves. If you've ever loved someone, there's a risk there. So I love my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, my mom could abandon me. Or some of you had your mom abandon you. So why would I want to express that love to someone now? So we all understand this innately, but when we break down why do I want to do this? Because you know the joy love brings when you actually are in a good relationship with a mother or with a father or with a spouse or with a kid or with an uncle. It doesn't even have to be your own kid. It could be someone else in your life. So we have a friendship love, or I have a familial love. There is some risk that I'm taking for what? For the benefit of relationship, joy, experiencing life together, right? So these aren't, all we're doing is explaining things that you already get naturally.
Yeah. Again, I was talking to somebody, we were talking pitching before with somebody else, and I'm like, there's not really anything brand new under the sun. Yeah. People try and do like crazy new things, but it's like, awesome. That's not right. Or like, we used to call it this, and now you just put a different name to make it new. And even in this, like, the world of understanding the possibilities of where our minds are at, it's like, it's nothing like crazy brand new, but some things maybe we didn't think about in the way that we used to, because courage helps us build self-confidence. And then that helps us stay, as in the words of, one of the words of Jordan Peterson, resolute and purposeful, which are critical for achieving success in this life. So, I mean, if you don't want to do anything, you want to sit back and not do a thing and whatever, live a miserable life, then by all means. Now, it doesn't mean things aren't going to be difficult, as you go about this journey, but that's the whole purpose of it. Like, the courage comes by dealing with what difficulties may come your way, and then the confidence comes from that. When you have confidence, then you can step forward and do the countless things that are there, and then you can lead the people around you, because it's like, hey, come on. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to do it. and we're going to figure this out, and we're going to make it work. And then all of a sudden you see this purpose, this moving forward, and good things are happening, even if good things aren't happening.
Did you listen to his series on the dragon?
I did not.
We'll explore that another time. But he talks about there is always a dragon in humanity's story and in your story. And that dragon is protecting or has stolen or is responsible for some negative thing in your life. And we as young men and men have to go slay the dragon. We have to go seek out whatever that dragon is holding behind him, whether it's gold, or he gives the analogy of the fables where it's virgins, or the actual analogy of like they're burning down cities. And so what this dragon is in your life is keeping you from being courageous.
Yeah.
But when you actually get the courage to go face your dragon, ooh, look out.
Well, and she's probably not listening anymore. But if she still is, my wife and I were just talking about this type of thing because it's a little frustrating for her because she feels like she's trying to, not in those words, but now that we're saying it, slay that dragon every single day. You know, she's yelling at it, whether, she sees it as the devil, that dragon that's trying to do the thing and going like, hey, no, I'm not going to allow you to tell me I'm not good enough. I'm not going to allow you to tell me that I'm not pretty, that I need to earn, everything in my, I need to earn my salvation. I need to earn the love of the people around me. They can never love me just for who I am. It's got to be based off of what I do. And through that, like there's some moments she wins and she slays it, and you can just see the confidence and that courage that she took. I mean, honestly, she's being courageous every single day to step into it. Because even as the lupus is popping in and going like, I'm doing all these things right, and yet now my fingers are starting to act up and swell up and cause me some pain, and going like, easily could just be like, forget it, I'm just going to do whatever I want and just go along with it and deal with it. Instead, it's like, no, I'm going to be courageous, knowing what could happen or it may not get better, yet still step into it and say, I'm going to do this. And you see it, those moments where it's great and the confidence is there. And then the moments where it's a battle and it's a challenge and it's an emotional grind for everyone in the family because it makes you want to see everything else, which is why it's great to have, great to avoid the fear-driven people. And I'm thankful that I'm in her life. And that, of course, she's in mine too, not because I'm so amazing, but I'm not fear-driven. It comes in, but I like to think I'm pretty courageous. And so to be able to try and encourage, and I don't do it perfectly. She'd tell you, I'm mean at times and whatever, but I don't mean to be if I am. But those are the things that pop in. Like, that's real life. And I think she reminds me of what most people in the world are actually dealing with. And I'm not saying that I don't. Sometimes it's hard because I don't experience those same things, but I can appreciate it. She had talked of it like, oh, you don't know because you've never experienced it. I'm like, well, I've been around enough people and seen it and can understand the way that it would lead you. Back in the day, there were some moments of that, but I was able to snap the finger, good Lord help me out, and here we go. But we're also leading to maybe our final one here. Some of it is because I maybe never knew it in these words, but I practice affirmations. And I don't think I had it in those words, like that language. I mean, he said it, but that language has come to me in the last couple of years because I've used it with some of my athletes, and I want to continue to use it, of like, I am courageous. Yeah, I am, for me, I'm a child of God. Zappo loves me. Like any of those simple things that just remind me of who I am and what I'm trying to do. Like, I'd have some athletes being like, I'm efficient when he goes out on the mount. That's who you are. You don't need to be somebody else that you're not. Like, who are you? I'm efficient. I'm aggressive. Yes, you are. Perfect. Now we can work those things together. And then it keeps growing. You can have plenty of them that go out there. But, even if it's simple as like, I have courage. I have courage because I need it. I need it to function. And for many, it's maybe to impact my kids or to impact my spouse, impact a friend, or simply because I need the confidence to move forward because I know that that's the right thing to do.
That's cool. Maybe get a little laminate card and write on a little encouragement to yourself, put in your back pocket today. I say laminate because I'm going to run it through the wash and then it's going to get ruined. So,
do we even know what laminate is for some of us?
I've got one. Laminator?
Laminator.
I don't know. Whatever.
Oh,
that's
yes.
great. Well, I mean, if you're not encouraged to go be courageous, you check your pulse. I'm fired up.
Oh, I'm fired up too. Yes, I hope it's a good word for you.
Give them some positive thoughts. You're a courageous person.
You are courageous.
Yeah,
you're courageous. You got it. Whatever's in front of you is not bigger than what's behind you. And they say that in the Christian world because we got God behind us, and actually He's leading the way, as I would say, more in front of us. I said, but if we do it right, we gather together with a group of people, like the guy here on my right or left, depending on what it looks like in the screen. I got my family and other people who just continue to what? We push each other forward. And sometimes it's not easy and it's not great. And the other person who maybe you're pushing or when we're getting pushed, we don't always like it. But in the end, we know that's what we need. And we're thankful for it when it comes down to it. So,
well, and remember, when you get a little discouraged, it's all part of it.
It is all part of it. And since this is the only song that will actually work on my button pad,
that's right.
I can't get the big and chunky to get going on here.
The first time, there's no big and chunky.
It's all right. I mean, it's not fitting. A little peaceful music for you to take with you as you work on battling through the fears. On behalf of myself, Justin Masterson, my guy, Matthew Zappasodi, my people, Fair Warrior, my Wayfinders, love you, appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.